This week on the I Love Funny Women podcast.
God, white women love an MLM. I don't miss a low-rise pants. Can I have my pants up to my chest, please? The intense moments where they're just like talking about how she's eating a burger and you're just like, oh my God, this is also very, very terrible.
Welcome to the I Love Funny Women podcast with your host, Dina Nina.
Oh, welcome to another episode of the I Love Funny Women podcast. I am Dina Nina.
And I'm Lalita D.
Oh, gosh.
So tell us about that thing. Tell us about that thing that helps you go. To sleep. I won't talk about the thing that helps me get to sleep because it's kind of obvious. We'll get to that later in the podcast.
Does it go like this?
I hate that those things are just quick segue. They have like 12 different like modes, but you have to cycle through them, and like 10 of the 12 are useless. Like whoever like me. Okay, and there's my teenager.
That is the worst.
Okay, time out. I'm just going to mute myself.
So there was a quick little...
Sorry, love. Mommy's just impersonating a sex toy. Can you wait?
It's your new step-parent.
No, Mommy's a single mom by choice.
I've been listening to some ASMR videos. Like, I especially like when they're reading literature. Like, so I was like, they're like, to be or not to be, that.
What?
Whether 'tis noble or in the mind. Like, it's my favorite thing. Like, they're just reading it, and I'm like, yes, this is so good. There's the one guy who's a little creepy, but it's also kind of hot. And he's like, he'll touch the microphone like,
oh my God, you're...
And of course, the way I touched the microphone was like, I would want to be touched, so...
Yeah, no, I want to be touched. That mic is one lucky girl. You should get the lube, though. It makes it better.
I don't want to clean that off my mic.
It does get messy. It's true.
It's true. Also, I wish that this week wasn't full of news that someone accused of misconduct, sexual misconduct, is booked at the comedy club in Madison.
When you say sexual misconduct, do you mean masturbating over women who clearly said that they did not want to be masturbated on?
Or gave loose consent, like, no, I'm in the same room, but you're masturbating. Like, what am I supposed to say? Can you please put your macaroni and cheese away? And also your dick, like...
Ew. Yeah, well, it's not news, Dina, that sexual misconduct in all forms doesn't really affect a man's career.
Right, well, man, right? Isn't that, it's so, I don't know. I don't have words. Like, I really don't. And I went to some open mics and there were some people doing very rape adjacent jokes. And I was like, what is happening? This is why I don't go to open mics that much anymore. Is because I don't want to deal with these rapey jokes from men. Why do you think that's funny? And men, why are you not keeping each other accountable for these jokes? Why aren't you saying that's not okay?
No, but I think a lot of men don't realize how rapey jokes are. They're really triggering for a lot of people, and they're not funny.
Yeah, so we've got some t-shirts that say normalize not booking predators in comedy, and you can find those at ladylaughscomedy.com/gift shop. And those shirts and bags, at least $1, will go to a sexual abuse charity or sexual survivor charity. So.
Hey, I love that gift shop. You have so many cool things in the gift shop. I just had a brilliant idea, Dina. You know how people are always getting stressed stressed out around Christmas time because they have to buy gifts for everyone. How normative is it to give a Christmas gift at Christmas? How
So
cool
normal.
would it be to give a Christmas gift in July? So everybody, let me solve your Christmas gift conundrum for you. Get yourself over to the gift shop over at Lady Laughs Comedy and buy all your Christmas gifts. There's so much great merch there. And then you're done for Christmas. You can just chill, go on holiday. Nobody cares.
Easy peasy.
I know, right?
We would love to hear from you. Go on over to Instagram and post a video and tag at I Love Funny Women with the hashtag Hey Dina, and you could be on the podcast or even on our YouTube.
Yes, and we would really appreciate it if you could give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Your review helps us game the algorithm and help us get more listeners.
Which we like.
Hey, this is Door Girl Greg. Thank you for listening to the I Love Funny Women podcast. If you haven't by now, you should really go to the socials and check out at I Love Funny Women on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube, because really, what else are you going to do?
And now it's time for the news. Last week, Representative Joyce Beatty was arrested while demonstrating for voting rights on Capitol Hill. She was joined by around 20 fellow demonstrators who were pushing the Senate to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. She was arrested for crowding and obstructing, unlike the January 6th mob, who were merely insurrecting. The voting rights demonstrators were obstructing.
Oh my God, it's nuts. It's so nuts.
It's so nuts.
It beggars belief.
Nobody died in this demonstration, but like a representative is getting arrested. It's just...
Yeah, and Josh Hawley got away with everything. And let's not even go to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, speaking of crazy, did you hear about the giant goldfish in Minnesota?
You mean like the crackers? Like, I love those.
No, I did not mean the crackers. An actual goldfish, like a fish. Some have been found in the lakes as big as 9 pounds.
It's because of COVID, right? The COVID-9?
No. People are releasing goldfish into the lakes where they grow because they have space to.
Why are they releasing them into the lake?
They're not. That's just a euphemism for flushing them down the toilet. Like in the morning when you release stock number 2 into the lake.
I don't want to do that in the lake. The Biden administration is trying to reverse Trump-era rollback for showerheads.
What? Biden is against showerheads?
No. So in the 90s, Congress legislated that showerheads should release 2.5 gallons of water per minute. Then Trump came in and was all, let's make it 2.5 gallons of water per minute per nozzle. Who's Melania? I can't do it. I clearly can't do it, Trump.
No, that was the worst Trump impersonation I ever heard.
The worst Trump. No, I can't. It just.
But your point is valid. So we think that Trump started pushing for increased strength in the shower head so that Melania could meet her needs that way and he would not have to touch her. And she was all about it, right? Because can you imagine his little Cheeto fingers, like ew, and his teeny tiny little Cheeto hands, ha ha ha. And so Melania is like, can we please put more water in the shower head? Okay, is that Slovenian? I don't think so.
It's not. She's like, I don't want your Cheeto fingers nor your Vienna sausage anywhere near me. Give me a powerful shower head.
And no shade on anybody who likes a little help in the shower with a powerful shower head. But then Jill Biden comes along and she's like, Joe, let's save the planet. Let's put less water in the shower head. And Joe's like, well, what about your orgasms, baby? And Jill, she's an educator. She's like, let me tell you what to do. And she does.
She's all, do the alphabet with your tongue.
A is for apple.
That Joe is a giver.
People, it's all about communication. So I am currently in the
lingual dexterity.
What's that?
And lingual dexterity.
Be a cunning linguist. Okay.
Yes.
You don't need a shower head. So speaking of water, I am currently in the Netherlands, where there have been some serious floods in the southern part of the country.
So what's the deal with the Netherlands?
Well, Dina, you know how you refer to your lady parts as your nether region? We are below the sea level, hence the Netherlands. And so we are always at risk of being flooded.
That sounds scary. So how do you get flooded?
How do we not get flooded?
Yeah, how do you not get flooded?
Dikes.
On bike?
You know, I mean, not wishing to brag or anything, but basically the dikes are the protectors of Holland, which is also why the women's soccer team is so much better than the men's.
And didn't Jeff Bezos just agree to take an 18-year-old Dutch boy into space with him?
He did. Can you imagine? The kid's dad paid $28 million to secure him that spot. I mean, my teenager drives me nuts as well. Walks in on me just as I'm recording a podcast. But sending him to space with Jeff Bezos? Like, what happened to the naughty step? Time out. Grounding. Take the phone away. It's child abuse.
It is. Also, very irresponsible parenting.
To all you parents out there, let me tell you, if you think you're a bad parent because you yelled at your kid, or you made him eat something they didn't want to eat, or you didn't want to take him to the movies or whatever, you are not a bad parent. A bad parent is a parent who sends their kid into space with Jeff Bezos.
I'm Door Girl Greg, and you're listening to the I Love Funny Women podcast.
This week, we have one of my good friends from Chicago.
Dina, this podcast is only all of your friends.
Yes, but also, yes.
Well, everybody loves you. What can I say? Today's guest is a comedian, a roller derby girl, and the co-host of the Wokefield podcast.
So please welcome our guest, Elizabeth Gomez. I love you so much. You are a podcaster, a writer, a comedian. You organized and created like a roller derby league. You're a fucking rock star. And you're my friend.
Yay!
So I was on your podcast recently. Well, it seems like recently. It was, I guess, a year ago now.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Wokefield.
Wokefield.
Yes, yeah. It's a podcast that's based on the Sweet Valley High books, which are terrible, as you know.
Terrible. But so fun. Like, the concept was so interesting. And you said book club kind of thing, like read a book. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to read a book. I'm like, sometimes it's hard enough for me to read a script, you know, like,
Right.
just like, so I started reading it and I was like, this is so terrible. And it was such a fun time. And the concept was so interesting and fun. And you and Adrienne Gunn do it. And
Yeah.
what inspired you to do Wokefield?
Well, so Sweet Valley High was like a very big book series when we were kids. She's a little bit younger than me, but it definitely was like an 80s like teen fave. And during quarantine, Adrienne had this like bug up her butt to like read the books. And so she ordered them on eBay and then they never came. So then she spent all this time trying to track down the books through the postal service, which you know is not a thing that you can do. Like that's not something that happens. Once they lose it, it's gone. But then she ended up ordering a second set of books. And so after she ordered the second set of books, she said, you know what? We better put together a podcast because I just spent all this money and all this time in dealing with this. So like, we've got to do something with it. And then when we started talking about it, I was like not so much in a favor of just reading the books because I remembered them being terrible. where I don't think she did. And we decided that we probably needed to have other voices, which I was so glad we did because we had so many great guests. And, you know, I think one of the things that is great about having guests is that if you have people that you know that are sincere and you kind of know who they are, you can have some really fun conversations. And you were awesome. You were one of my favorite guests on that show. Yeah. Adrienne was obsessed. She was just like, Dina's the best. And I was like, I know, I booked her.
I'll get Adrienne on the show sometime too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun. And you couldn't have picked a better book for me to like read, because the fat girl, I can't even remember names, was like, in the book, it was like she pulls out a candy bar while she's having a serious conversation in somebody's fancy house, and then she pulls out a candy bar so she doesn't cry when the guy dumps her, and she pulls out a candy bar. And I'm just like, fat people don't carry around candy bars all the time in their purse. Now, on the occasion.
I know the intense moments where they're just like talking about how she's eating a burger, and you're just like, oh my God, this is also very, very terrible.
So fat shaming.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's to your point, in the 80s, we kind of just did whatever we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, objectifying, fat shaming, you know, whatever it was, we were into it.
And I keep thinking, I miss the 80s and 90s. And now I'm like, maybe I don't really.
I definitely don't I don't miss a low-rise pants in the 90s.
Fair.
Yes. If you look at Britney's Instagram, it's always, I'm like, girl, you know, it is a new decade. Those low-rise. But, you know, I guess if I had a body like that, I wouldn't feel so much.
But also mid-rise, I'm not so sure about either. Like,
no, I want a high-rise mom jean.
I love a mid-rise. That's what I meant to say. I like a mid-rise. It's the perfect. It's still high.
I'm like, can I have my pants up to my chest, please? And it just flattens it all out.
It just makes everything look like I'm in an umpire dress where it's like right under my boob, and then it makes everything else look like enormous.
Are you short-waisted?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
It's high, but also low. It's so weird. Like, I feel like when your waist is really low, then you're like, okay, then I can wear the low-rise jeans. And then when your waist is like under your boobs, then, but mine's like right in the middle, and nobody takes into account that there's a middle, you know?
I have a very short waist. So like, I can't have belts that are like thicker than 3 inches. You know, I measure all my belts by the tip of my thumb. I'm like, oh, it's wide as the tip of my thumb. That's perfect.
And I don't understand why there's a point in having like a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch belt. And I'm like, it's
right.
just, it's a string. Get a piece of yarn, you know, like.
Well, remember in the 80s, it was like big for the wide belts.
Oh yeah,
that was like a big
I kind of like the wide belt.
Mm-hmm. It's very like corporate woman speak, you know, red blazer, shoulder pads, big black belts.
Shoulder pads, all the shoulder pads.
Those are coming back.
I love it. I know. I keep seeing it. I'm like, I have this jumpsuit that I want to get made that I have in my head that has like hella shoulder pads, and I'm just like, all the shoulder pads and a jumpsuit.
Oh my God, I love it.
So good.
I also love a jumpsuit.
Also, if you think about jumpsuits, I got a jumpsuit and you have to take the whole goddamn thing off. Like,
when you go pee?
We don't make, like, and I pee a lot. I go to the restroom a lot. And I was like, I have to get completely undressed every time I pee when I wear this.
Just your boobs out there in the middle of this public bathroom. I know. I was trying to think about that. Like, how do you resolve it? You can't put like a little zipper there.
I know, right?
Like a little zipper that's like in the crotch.
Right.
Some buttons. I don't know how to fix it.
I have a whole situation usually where I have like so many undergarments that I'm like, okay, well.
Oh yeah, trying to pull a pair of Spanx down. Oh, forget it.
Yeah. Especially in the summer. They get stuck on your sweaty fat.
Ugh, I just always take them off. My friend Patrick always makes fun of me because we'll be like at a bar and I'll be wearing Spanx at the beginning of the night, and then I just leave them in the trash. And I keep doing it. I keep trying.
That's how my best friend was with me and heels. Like, he was like, "Why do you even wear them?" I'm like, "They looked cute for the first 30 minutes I was out."
Right. They look cute if you're sitting down.
Yes, exactly.
You just have to carry your purse with like a pair of flats, and then you sit down and put them on.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
Right.
And now I don't even dress up anymore, and I have pockets all the time, so I'm just like, put everything in your pockets. It's the best.
It is.
So what funny women inspire you right now? Like, who's really getting you like excited and making you laugh?
Gosh, I don't even know. I feel like over COVID, I haven't been paying attention to the world at all. I've been watching a lot of things like Escaping Polygamy.
Oh.
Like I've been like deep into like shows about like how terrible life is. I don't even know. I was just like, COVID happened and I was like, you know what this needs? More depression.
Right. I've been watching all of like the Nexium stuff and then like all the cult things. And then
Yes.
I just watched, there was like a program on HBO that's about the Heaven's Gate cult.
Yes, I saw that. It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And I'm like, I think I might have been in a cult in my 20s.
Well, I was gonna say it's also the Heaven's Gate one was like during our childhood, right? Like we were probably teenagers. I think I was graduating high school.
I might have been in. Well, I mean,
it's okay. It's okay. Shh. If you don't say it out loud, it's not real.
It's not real. Like I heard about it. My mom talked about it.
Right.
Yeah, like because it was in 2000. The late
1992, I think.
Oh, it was.
It died. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was 90. Yeah, it was the 90s. I forgot about that. I even watched it and I paid attention, but I was mostly high.
Which is probably why it was so interesting. You're just like,
right, totally. But then, like the Nexium thing, have you watched anything on it?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I also, in all of my accomplishments, I have a true crime club. Because, you know, I'm basically a detective. I've watched enough documentaries on crime that I feel like I could probably just have my own detective agency. But yeah, I knew a lot about them beforehand, and then you know the documentary came out, which I thought was not great. Actually, I thought because there's two of them.
Yeah, I watched them both.
And one of them I feel like is just a little kind of like ugh. But what I kept thinking to myself was like, God, white women love an MLM.
They do.
What? Yeah. I'm like, it's core. Of course, you could be like, take this essential oil if you brand yourself. Like, I was like, what is it with them? Like, what is it?
True. So I used to work for an MLM.
As you do.
Now I have been distributors for MLMs, but I was also like, I'm not committed to this. This is not the thing. Right. I will buy the products because they're good. But so I used to work in a call center. And so I'd have these white women named Star and Summer and Maze. And like, I feel like one girl was named like Cornmeal, you know, like. And so one of my friends and I called her Hiawatha and she called me something else and I can't remember, but it was like, we're like, and they would call and then they would be so upset about something. And I'm like, if you look at your distribution, or your like whole program, you have to go through and you're like, this is why you're not making money. Get people under you. And it's just like, it's building a cult.
Yes, it is. I mean, the Nexium MLM scheme is like even so crazy. It's like I was like, what exactly are you guys? You guys are just learning to be good people.
Yeah, totally.
Like just do the things. I mean, there's a whole Bible about it. They came on concrete pamphlets.
Right.
Like don't kill your neighbor. Don't fuck your friend's wife. You're good.
But join a sex cult.
Right? Yeah, no, that's so like I haven't been paying much attention to comedy. You know, the last person that I was really super obsessed with was Issa Rae. I was very into her show. I just watched a little bit of Hacks, which everyone keeps telling me is great, and I didn't get into it.
Oh, I can't wait. Every time I sit down and see it come up on my queue, I'm like, I can't pay attention right now because I'm about to fall asleep.
I think for me, it's always like, I just rather watch people kill each other. I don't know what it is. But I've been super obsessed with this show, Escaping Polygamy, because I'm very much like you. I find cults very interesting. I feel like it reveals a lot about humanity and like our need to belong and our need to be loved and our need to like connect with someone else. So it's always fascinating. Yeah, right. Like, I mean, but it's super fascinating what people will do to feel like they belong.
Yeah.
And very sad. But this is like women, this group of ex-polygamists, or like these girls who had grown up in the polygamy community. Well, they escaped when they're girls, now they're women. They like go out now and like help other women escape polygamy. And I'm like, that's so rad. What a good, I'm like, I wish I could come up with a career idea like that. Something that had some kind of meaning.
Totally.
It's not like the job that I do. I work for like an alderman, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I got to talk to people about garbage and rats and how they don't like potholes. I should totally be helping people escape.
Well, I am so grateful that you took the time to hang out with me today.
Yes, I'm so glad it happened. I was worried because I was like, did I miss an email? Did I not get a thing? But so when you popped up, I was like, yes, I'm so psyched. And again, I'm not surprised that like we just went straight to the topics. I mean, I feel like
we're making this a two-parter. So for those of you who are only listening to one part, you're going to get the deep one next.
Right. I mean, I think again, it's good to have people you feel safe in talking to about these subjects, and that you can be fully yourself and honest and really share the love and the connection.
Yes, I will not be sharing any of the video clips from that part because I ugly cried, I think, at once.
I was like, how do I keep my shit together right now?
You did so well, and I was like, I'm trying to, and then all of a sudden my upper lip is like so tight, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, Dina, it is. It's like these are things that we need to be talking about, and we need to be real about them. I really do. Putting on that brave face bullshit to me is like not like see how it affects me. See what this has done to us.
Yeah.
We can't. It's not this.
Right.
It's not this that. Like, oh, it was so great to be assaulted by my boss.
Right. I was just trying to get fabric.
Right.
There was a nice lame back there. That was the only reason. He assaulted me by the lame. That's my memoir.
Boobs by the bolt.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
Me too. I love you. I had so much fun.
Ditto. Where can people find you?
On my couch.
Yes.
On my couch watching Escaping Polygamy.
I love it.
Right now I'm not really doing very much because I'm still trying to adjust to the new world post-COVID. I'm definitely struggling and how I'm supposed to operate and what I want to do with my time now. But my Instagram's rumble at Instagram, which is spelled all funny. So we don't have to go through that. But if you want to find me, really, really want to find me because you think I'm super, super awesome and you have to see me immediately, reach out to Dina.
Totally. Can people read your musings and writing anywhere?
Yeah, I have that Elizabeth Gomez is my blog, but my website, but it still needs to be rehauled. And I mean, I'm just a mess right now, Dina.
It's fine. I love that you are.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I'm not the only person who's struggling this way. And I think it's okay.
And we'll have your Instagram on the show notes. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you so much. And that's all we have this week for you. Thanks for listening to the I Love Funny Women podcast.
You can find us on all the social media at I Love Funny Women. And find us on YouTube as well.
This podcast was written by me.
And me.
And you can find me on all the socials at Dina Nina XO.
And you can find me on Lalita D Comedy.
Find our guest Elizabeth Gomez at Joanna Rumble.
And Doorgirl Greg is on Instagram at GG Potter.
And our announcer is Crysta Garner, and she can be found on Instagram at Crysta Garner.
This is an Artemis Glow studio production
in association with Crossover Media and AMG. See you next week.
Have a great week, everyone.